I wanted to do a quick little video on the premiere of the challenge All Stars 2 on Paramount Plus. After I quite enjoyed season 1 on Paramount Plus, the only problem was it was so rushed. It felt like that was my biggest issue with season 1 of All Stars, but it was entertaining, and so far so good for season 2 as well. It is also entertaining, and to me, just far more entertaining than the actual main show, The Challenge on MTV is. That is for sure. As I've said on this channel, I haven't been covering season 37 of The Challenge because why? I am fed up with the current castings on that show. It's not working for me at all. I think it pretty much sucks. So, yeah, to me, All Stars is the show to watch if we're watching the challenge. Certainly not the show on MTV. They put all that budget into the MTV show only for it to either be boring or just have a really annoying cast that I don't give two fucks about. And the viewers don't either, because as I stated before, season 37 of the challenge lost more than a third of its ratings, more than a third of its viewers from season 36. So yeah, the last two seasons of the challenge not doing so hot for MTV after it was getting on a little bit of a roll again there for a while. But let's talk about All Stars, the better product. Now, this episode didn't end the way I would have liked it to end. I would have liked the episode to be longer, but we'll get to that at the end. I do have a negative at the end, but first for the positives, I just think that a cast of older players is just more enjoyable to me. I ain't even that old. I fall somewhere in the middle. Well, that's not even true. I feel like I'm at the age of the fucking most of the players on MTV's The Challenge. Meanwhile, the Challenge All-Star players are older than me, but I just find the younger players on the MTV version so obnoxious. It's old. They just cast really obnoxious people from other reality shows that don't need to be on anymore, which is basically everybody they casted from Big Brother that's still on. I would definitely take Dave on, and I would even take Polly back than fucking watching Josh or boring ass Casey. And they don't even cast good enough Survivor players. They casted Natalie for one season. She unfortunately had to leave, and we didn't get to see her on this new season. So I just have no incentive to watch the main show right now because, like I said, the cast isn't there. And we can discuss, we did on the first season when we did a podcast, can this really be called All Stars if it's not an all-star cast? I mean, I get that. We talked about that for season 1, and it's kind of the same feel in season 2. Once again, there's definitely some people on the cast that I barely remember from the challenge. I remember some of them from the real world, like MJ. I remember him more from the real world than I do the challenge. But I actually feel like we also get little gems that are very underrated on the challenge that I actually do think are all-stars, even though they may not be the biggest personalities we remember, and maybe they didn't play 20 billion fucking times, so we forget about them. But I do like that, obviously Tina, she was a powerhouse on the challenge of the past. Brad, I feel like people know Brad, of course, from the challenge. He's also won before. And then we got people like Derek Chavez and Jasmine, who maybe not the best challenge players, but they always brought entertainment, and I remember them. But the person I mainly want to talk about that is on this cast is Tyler, who I just feel like is really fucking underrated. He won 2 seasons. He talked about it on the episode how he won 2 out of 4 seasons he played. It's a pretty good win percentage compared to baseball hitters in baseball, but he has elimination wins over players like Bananas, CT, Derek. So Tyler's very underrated when it comes to the challenge. So I like that they have all-stars to bring back people that maybe didn't play a billion times, but when they played, like Kendall, that we seen last year, she played once and won. I just feel like they're good competitors. They're very underrated. We forget about them. So I like that about all-stars a lot. Now, I also liked the people they brought back from season one. I felt like they brought back the right people from All Stars one. Um, Obviously, Darrell and Derek, those are givens that should be brought back for any All Stars. Janae had a great outing in All Stars one. She showed a lot of heart. She did way better at some challenges than we were expecting. She got third in the final. So I'm glad to see her back. And she did season one like 6 or 7 months after she had a baby. As you can see, she looks in really good shape in this season compared to last season, 6 months from being a new mother. Katie, of course, Kendall, I'm glad she gets a second chance. Latarian, loved him on season one. I talked about him a lot on season one. I wasn't expecting to like him so much, so it's good to see him back getting another shot. Nehemiah, of course, as well, a great competitor. Tech, always entertaining. Glad Tech is back for the entertainment. I feel like I was trying to think from All Stars 1 who is missing that maybe they could have brought back that I really would have liked to see. And basically, they brought back everybody I would have liked to see again from All Stars 1. The only other person that maybe, I mean, obviously, yes, who won the fucking show, but maybe he didn't want to say yes and come back so quickly after winning because I'm pretty sure he's rumored to be in season 3. But yeah, so I do like the cast they put together. At first, on paper, when I first saw the cast, I was a little disgruntled about it because, like we talked about in season one, is it really all stars? But that's just a name, and it's just way more entertaining than the main show. So I'm all for it. Some of the main points that we got shown in this first episode is, you know, we get to see Jody again. That's another good person to bring back, the first solo winner on the challenge. So we see her and Derek, they want to run the game together. At least that's what Derek says. And then those two win the first challenge, which I will get to in a second. Before I talk about the challenge, I also wanted to talk about John A showing her social game because I remember on All Stars 1, I talked about how I remember John A for her social game. She was never the biggest challenge beast at all, but she always worked her social game very fucking well. And so we saw her on season one of All Stars actually look pretty good in challenges. We see her now working her social game again. We didn't get to see a lot of that in season one of All Stars, but we're seeing it now. So honestly, if Janae could be as good at challenges this season as she was in All Stars 1, and she has her social game back, Janae is going to be up there as one of the main competitors for the women this season. Now they're obviously doing duos, so you could get caught with a bad duo. So because we saw that in this first challenge, Nehemiah gets with Ayana, and Ayana ends up falling off, even though Nehemiah kicked the challenge ass. So those two have to go into the first elimination. Who were some of the other teams in the challenge? We saw Ryan and Jasmine start the challenge. I thought Jasmine was going to miss that first ball because I remember her not being so good at challenge herself. Plus, she's small, and that was far away for small people to hit to like dunk the ball type thing. But she did it. Derek and Jody obviously won. Nehemiah and Ayana lost. Darrell and Kendall was a strong team. Tina and Steve kicked some ass. I also liked Steve being a hand model. That was another funny part of the episode. Brad and Katie did good. Tech and Casey, that was another funny moment of the episode for me when Tech pushed Casey to try and get Casey to dunk the ball or, do the finger roll, which she did not do. She was another smaller person and she didn't. She missed the basket. So that was funny as well. But yeah, like I said, Derek and Jody win. We get the cliffhanger ending, so we don't see the first elimination, which ain't that great. So Derek and Jody will have to nominate 4 players, and then everybody will vote for the 2 players to go against Nehemiah and Ayana. We then see Nehemiah talk about how he doesn't want to play the honest game like he's used to playing. So I want to see if he's actually going to live up to the hype at the end of this episode and play a bit of a snake game in this next episode. I think he needs to. I think he should. Or he could be in trouble if his partner is another fuck up in a challenge that is, endurance like. So I didn't like that we got the cliffhanger ending because once again, I'm pretty sure this season is only 10 episodes again. So it's going to be another rushed season, especially if we didn't get that first elimination. So I don't know how this is going to be edited. Editing in the shows has become my main fucking problem with the episodes of all the main shows: Survivor, Big Brother, The Challenge. The editing is just a mess. But I am entertained, and all around I feel positive once again against these all-star seasons. They are a great change of pace compared to the main show on MTV, which I find very nauseating these days. Hard to watch for me. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how this all turns out. Who will Derek and Jody vote in against Nehemiah and Ayana? We will find out next week. As for now, a thumbs up for me on All Stars 2.